Loading a JDBC driver. The first step is to load a JDBC driver. If your application connect to several different types of database, all of their respective driver must be loaded. So there's a one way class.4name. So this class.4name will help you to load the drivers. So you can just write here class name. For MySQL, com.mysql.jdbc.driver, you can write it here. So it will get loaded and then your program will interact with the database. Okay. Now the second step, you have to connect with the database. So you need to pass some URL and then you need some username password. If that username password is there for that particular users or for database, you have to pass here. In the case of MySQL, we can say it is the root here, and here we can say, let us say my password is admin. Now what is the URL here? So what it does, there's the one class driver manager which help us to get the connection. So there's the one static method from the driver manager class, and we are calling that method and we are passing 3 arguments. If you can pass just URL only if username password is not there. If username password, you can say URL and username password, you can pass it here. So these two are optional, and this get connection method return the connection object. So there is a one connections interface which help us to get the connection. Okay. Now with the help of this connection, we can fire all the query, we can prepare statement, we can call procedure, we can execute query, we can execute update, means I can insert records, I can delete records. So I have to take the help of this connection because this connection is representing the actual connection with the database, right? Okay. Now behind the scene, the driver manager calls every JDBC driver that has been registered and asks it if the URL is one that it can use to guide it to its database. If the URL is properly presented, it will recognize by at least one of the drivers. Okay. So the first driver to connect to its database with the URL, username, password will be used as the channel of communication, and the application program gets back a connection object. So getting communications and all, getting the connection object, and the session has now been established and the connection is now used for communication between the application program and the database. So by using that connection object, we can do the communication with the database. You can think of the connection object as a cable linking your application program to the database. Okay. Yeah. So connecting to a database is a time consuming operation. As a result, most databases have a way to share connections among several different processes. This arrangement is known as connections pooling. So if you create number of connections on the servers and you can get the connections and start working with that. So your application program knows which database it wants to talk to and hence which database driver it needs to load. So the JDBC driver manager knows how to establish the JDBC end of the database connection. And the driver knows how to establish the database end of the things, right? And the driver manager gives the application a connection into which you can pour standard SQL queries and get results. So with the help of that connection object, we can fire query, we can call some methods and all. So there's a one connections object. Look at here, we are having number of methods in the connections like cont.create a statement. Suppose you are having connections cont, so you can say cont.create a statement, cont.prepare statement, cont.prepare call, cont.get metadata, cont.isClose. So we can check whether the connection is closed or not. So cont.commit, it will help you to commit the transactions. It will help you to roll back the transactions. So cont.rollback. This guy will help you to pass the simple query with the statement. So there's a three different object. Now we are having a statement, prepare statement, and callable statement. So statement help us to send SQL query to the database. Prepare statement help you to send a parameterized query. What is a parameterized query? So there's one question mark we are having. Instead of value, you can put question mark, and that question mark will replace with the real value, and it will prepare one query and fire to the server. Okay, let us say you are having procedure. There's the store procedure concept in database or RDBS, which help us to execute some routines, and that routines, if you want to call it here, so for that sake we have a prepare call method, and you can call the procedure here at this place. That will return the callable statement object. Now get metadata, you want to know the information of the database server, which kind of server, what is the version. Okay, so it will return database metadata, and then you can say database metadata object you will create and say get version and all. These are the methods from the connections. Okay, even there are more methods in the connection object. What is that? Set auto commit. By default, every statement is a auto commit, so it is on. If you want to make a explicit commit, you want to commit your own, then you have to set auto commit false. So cont.set commit. You want to close the connection, so you say connection dot close. You want to make a connection read only, or just you want to check whether the connection is read only or what. So the method is connection, or we can say cont dot is read only. It will return true or false if it is read only. We can set read only, or so set read only boolean true, so it will become read only. Now no one can insert update the record in my table if the connection is read only. They can just view the records from my table through the application. Now creating a statement. Just now I said you can say connection dot create a statement, right? So you can create object connection dot create a statement will return a statement object. And with the help of this statement object, let us say this object name is st. So you can write st dot execute update, and inside that you can write insert into say student table I have, and then I say values. What values? Say the roll number is 10 and name is A, like that. One more I have to close here, and I have to open here, right? So we can pass one statement. So this line will insert one record. Similarly, we can say execute update, delete from my student table, execute update, update my table. So there's the execute update method. If I want to run the query, so we can write here what st dot execute query, right? And execute query, I can write here a statement select star from student. This guy will return you the result. So there is a result set. So result set rs equal to, you can type like this. Okay. So this is what a statement object which we are having, which will help you to run the statement. I mean insert, update, delete the statement, and get the data from the table, execute query. The methods in the previous table are invoked on the connection object returned by the JDBC drive manager, right? The connection is used to create a statement object, and the statement object contains the method that allow you to send the SQL statement to the database, as I have just now written there, that statement dot execute query, right? So my statement dot execute query select star from bikes. So all the data will come to result set. Now you have to navigate this result set and display the records. So if we are getting results, the cursor is on the top. So there's a next method which helps us to move to the next record. Okay. So if you're having, suppose, execute query, there are three methods we are having: execute query, execute update, execute. So if you're having execute, you can pass here only select statement. If you're having execute update, you can pass insert, update, delete, create, drop. All these methods you can pass here. If we are talking about execute methods, you can pass the procedure. If you're having some multiple results, if you're getting, you can pass it that one. Even you can write create, drop also here. That will help you to understand whether table is created or not, table has been dropped or not, because it returns true or false. This guy returns the result set. Execute update returns the integer. Okay, so it return the integer number here, like how many record has been inserted, how many record has been updated and deleted. Okay, so these are the three return types for the different methods we are having here. So we will keep using these three methods while you're writing the program. So putting it all together, let us have some one example here. And so look at this one. So what here we are doing, I'll explain you here. So let us have one code, simple JDBC. Okay, it is just throwing exceptions, because if writing some kind of this line, this will throw the exceptions, SQL exceptions. So you have to try catch. If you're not doing try catch, you have to say through, right? Correct. Now class.forename. So I'm saying com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So loading the driver. It is here, loading driver. Now establishing connection here. So we are writing connection con equal to drive manager dot get connection. So we are passing the JDBC colon mysql colon slash slash localhost colon 3306 port number if it is there, and then byte db. This is my database and this is root and username password. So it is saying database connected. So till this level we have loaded drivers and we have done connectivity successfully. Now we are creating a statement here. So create a statement, returning statement, and then we are saying a statement dot execute query. What query? Select bike name, cost, mileage from bikes. So it will give you the records. Let us say I have 200 records. So all 200 records will come to result set. So I cannot say system order print line result set, right? Because 200 records I cannot display in one. So I have to navigate it the whole records like result set dot next. As I said next, so let us say this is my table I have. Okay, consider this is the table I have. So what will happen? First time the cursor is here on the top on the heading. As you say next here, it will go to at this place, and then you say results set dot get a string first column, results set dot get a string second column, third column. So all the first column, second, third, say second, third, fourth column data will come. Right? Again this loop will go on the top and say result set dot next. So it will go to the next record, display it, next record, display it, next record, display it, So it will keep displaying all the records. And finally, we can say close connection. So we are closing the connections. So this is the way to fire query to the database through your application. So I hope you understood this example now. You can see this result here. It is displaying all the columns one by one, and the message saying driver loaded, database connected, and all the records is getting displayed here from the result set, right?